All right, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Give me a moment to get situated here. All right, there we go. That should be good. So we're going to continue from where we left off. We got about 2/3 of the way through the T-Rex yesterday. He's missing his tail and his head. But we're going to remedy that today. Hello, James. I'm just going to warn you now. All of the Legos are in a pile because I do things the old-fashioned way. I know that goes against your sensibilities, but it plays into mine. So I'm just going to adjust the ribs there for a moment. Move my body over to the side for a minute. All right. So it's been a bit of a stressful day, so I just wanted to do some chill Legos rather than continuing my playthrough of just to continue what I was doing yesterday instead of to keep going in my Final Fantasy playthrough, just because I just wasn't feeling it tonight. It's just being a feel free to hop into Discord if you want to actually chat, or we can continue to talk through the chat here. It's really up to you. Just do some chill Lego building. Let's see if I can emulate the sound of see if I can emulate ASMR while I'm doing this. What do you think? I could turn on the binaural sound and switch sides from time to time. Just practice working on my NPR voice. So we're gonna look for a single point for a piece right now. The biggest challenge, as I mentioned yesterday, is that a lot of these pieces are white and small, so it's a lot of sifting through pieces that look very similar if you're not paying enough attention. So it might take me a while to find some pieces from time to time. And that's okay. We're just being chill today. Just gonna be nice and relaxed. I'd apologize if I put anybody to sleep with this, but you know what? That's okay. Sometimes all you really want is just something relaxing on the screen or in your ears when you fall asleep. I do that frequently, actually. I've been listening to a lot of ASMR videos on YouTube. Bob Ross. Or the real struggle. I got confused on a Lego Mario set because hit buttons and ears are both smooth studs, one yellow and one peach. Oof, that's rough. There's the piece I was looking for. Alright, now as I said, I've been listening to a lot of ASMR videos or Bob Ross, or sometimes just watching a channel called Baumgartner Restoration. Man, he just narrates doing his day-to-day business as a fine art restorer. It's actually quite fascinating to watch. He often shows off his more difficult art pieces that he is working on. It's kind of fascinating to see what all goes into restoring a piece of art. And sometimes you just feel his pain as he deals with what some person previous to him royally messed up. I will say, one thing I do take advantage of is the fact that the instructions these days do actually show which pieces you need for each step, which is handy. Back in the day, we'd have to just tell what was different from one picture to the next, and sometimes that was kind of difficult when it was just like one or two small pieces. So at Randall's suggestion yesterday, I started on the T-Rex, which may have been a mistake. It's arguably the largest of the three dinosaurs. Well, two dinosaurs and one pterosaur in this set. But it gets done. And it's the most impressive. Probably. It'll certainly be impressive when I'm done. Still doesn't help if you don't collect all of the pieces at the start. This is true. piece I was working on. I found it. You can see starting with the T-Rex. I actually finished the Lego Majestic Tiger recently. It's very large and detailed set. Yes! Okay, so let's just see here. One thing I tend to do while I'm searching for pieces, so if I find a different piece that I know I'll need in the immediate future, I will set it to the side so I don't forget where it is. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it helps. Pink one. Lego set as a ball. I did know about that. I forget where I heard about that, but I did know that. Did I learn that from you? I think I did. The fact that it has that, though, it is kind of impressive that they actually thought of how they could actually achieve that effect. I noted, again, yesterday, the way that they've done some of these bones on this is really quite impressive. The way they're simulating some of the actual bones. That is great. The stripes are so well done. That's cool. That's cool. Shield and crest pieces for the chest. Yep, that's a perfect example. They also used a bunch of pyramid-style pieces to simulate some of the spikes. As another example. All right. It looks like this tail is pretty much done. Getting nice and flexible. Yeah, here's a good example. So we're using one of these, which is usually like an elephant tusk or something. Combining it with this piece to make the tip of his tail. This is actually the same apparatus they used for each of the ribs, which I think is kind of neat. very carefully putting these together. It's nice and chill. There we go, we're representing one of the caudal vertebrae that way. That's kind of neat. And using what would normally be like a sharp's tooth. The month is going to be good. Starting 4 days off in a row for a staycation to play Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yes. That game does look really awesome. I would kind of like to play it. We got $80 in Nintendo eShop certificates for Christmas. 50 of which was supposed to go toward an online membership with the expansion, but there was a snafu with the codes, so we ended up accidentally spending $50 on that, so we have $80 instead. And we might be saving 50 of it for renewal of the Nintendo Online. But until then, we have to figure out what to do with the other 30. And I've thought about suggesting a Pokemon game. From what you've heard, Pokemon Legends is a long game, so bang for the buck. That's not a bad idea. I was thinking of possibly looking at getting Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, but I don't know. Pretty sure Aaron also is a big fan. Has been enjoying the new Paper Mario that we borrowed from the library. Well, this tail is coming together. It's almost done. Just need to put that last spine together. Which, of course, means I need to find the pieces for it. Button. Excuse me. I bumped the camera. All right. I should really just show all the pieces that I know I'm not going to be using at the moment off to the side. Specifically anything that's not white or just a small connector. Let's see. Ah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Checking on something for parents. No worries. You didn't really miss anything important. Just finishing up the tail here. There. Yeah, it's nice and imposing looking. And we just dig it on like that. Cool. All right. And all that's left is a neck and head, it looks like. See skeleton feet and robot arms for minifigs. Yep. Yeah, there's one joke fossil in this. It is a skeleton. So James, I think the only thing you missed was me commenting that I was thinking of suggesting Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, or Aaron has been enjoying the Paper Mario that we borrowed from the library recently. Didn't know if you had any thoughts on that yourself. I'm glad it's not as cold tonight as it was yesterday. We have very good insulation right by the windows next to my desk, and it made my hands very cold and dried them out. You can see they kind of cracked a little bit. It was unpleasant. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl wouldn't be a bad choice. Story's just okay. Yeah. I quite enjoyed the Sinnoh games back in the day. Probably some of my favorite Pokemon games for some reason. Origami King is a very fun game if you're okay with the minimal character growth. Yeah, that sounds about right. I also just recently located our Wii, so I can hook it up to our new TV, in the hopes that we can introduce a 5-year-old to some classic Nintendo games, like the games on the Wii, obviously, or Paper Mario: 1000-Year Door, which is one of Aaron's favorites. Alright. Ball up and switched unpacking, kind of zen, alternate storytelling kind of game, but good so far. It's appearing on top of many indie games from 2021. Interesting. I think I've heard of it. But whatever we get, it's gonna have to be something that we can agree on together. And in the meantime, we did get the Nintendo Online service, so we can play some quote classic games from older systems. Don't get me wrong, there's some good games on the lists, but there's some oddball ones. Some games on the Super Nintendo list that really remind me how strange some Super Nintendo games were. Some are there which were meant for different markets. Yeah, I just... What caught my eye were games that I remember specifically from the days of trolling Blockbuster as a kid. Looking for something interesting to rent. Of course, the main reason we finally broke down and got it was so that we could play Paper Mario on the Switch. The original. And the Donkey Kong Country games are also there for the NES. Yes, I noticed that, and that made me very happy. I really liked those games. All three of them were really good, in my opinion. Oop, I messed up. I skipped a step. Isn't that just how it goes? I also completely screwed up one piece. Oh dear. That's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see at all. Run a large Technic put a piece of gearbox in backwards and it locked up the axle. Only noticed after you're finished, able to take it and fix it. Oh, that would not be good. Could have been worse though. It could have broken the axle before you realized it. That would have been bad. So far, that's the only mistake I've made. Yeah. I think. It's the only mistake I've really noticed. This was one with two gears on either side, one bigger than the other. The axle wouldn't even turn, so it wouldn't break. It just didn't roll at all. Well, that's good. Alrighty. So just like that, our Tyrannosaurus has a neck. So now we'll just finish him, giving him his head. Let's see here. So after the T-Rex, I've still got a Pteranodon and a Triceratops to make. But I don't think I'm gonna have the energy tonight to do more. Considering how long it's taken me to do just the T-Rex. Just his body and feet took me, and arms, took me 2 hours yesterday. Like I said, he's probably the biggest of the three, but the other two probably won't be all that fast either. But I'm having fun. Just having a good time, relaxing, and building a dinosaur. It's true, there will be a lot fewer pieces to look through when I'm done with the T-Rex. But we'll just see where we're at. It is already 9:30 almost. All right. So to look, we're using hollow space in between pieces to simulate the cranial space. It's really cool. And at the same time, it'll create where his eyes go. Or went. I guess would be the correct term. Correct tense. Also, just staring at this much white kind of messes with my eyes. I'm not a big fan of the color white. I find it too bright. And truth be told, while I get why they chose white, because that's the color of bones, in reality, these fossils should be something more akin to a dark brown. Oh, there's the piece I was looking for. Yeah, staring through this sea of white kind of makes it hard to find things sometimes. Alright. But we're making progress here. Things seem to be going pretty well tonight. He certainly seems to be taking form. And I suppose in some ways this is somewhat like putting together an actual fossil. Only those you usually catalog so you don't have to search as much as this. But sometimes you just have to very carefully put things together. Like a really difficult jigsaw puzzle without a picture on the box. Alright, here's another example of ingenuity. They're using what is usually a wheel piece, or usually wheel wells, to show up the orbits where the eyes go. I think that's very clever. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, see, it's forming the top of his skull and his eyebrows. Very clever. Very clever indeed. That's very cool. Oh, and now we're making teeth. Now, I will say these teeth are not, I don't think, to scale. Seeing as normally these teeth would each be 6 inches long. So they wouldn't look quite this stubby in the mouth. Let's see. Here we are. We're looking pretty good. gonna set that part aside to do work on the lower jaw. Okay. I also don't know what I'd talk about if I tried to keep going. I only have so much to say. There's a reason my streams are usually about an hour. Now granted, that's also because I'm using my PlayStation to record, and an hour is the limit per recording. But I also find that I just kind of run out of things to talk about for a running commentary. Easier for some people because they have a larger chat they can play off for streaming. Yes, if I had more people in my chat, that does encourage me to keep talking more, but I usually don't have more than 3 or 4, so it doesn't do me any good. I mean, I engage as much as I can, but obviously I can't just... There gets to be a point where I'm just rambling. Yes, chill streams are nice. I agree. And personally, I find it kind of intimidating to try and join in the chat on a really large stream. Unless I know the person personally, or am trying to give help for a game. But that's just because I have anxiety and extreme introversion. Kind of has the same vibe of wanting to speak up at a party and hoping everyone else doesn't stop talking for a second. Yes. It is very similar vibes. All aside from the fact that I almost never really want to speak up at a party. Just as a matter of principle. Alright, we've got a head. Rah, 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 rah. That's fun. And we'll finish this off by attaching the head. Ta-da! That's really cool. And it's posable. And yeah, that was a really, really thick manual. 143 steps. They built it with limited motion downward to prevent drooping. Yes. Look, in general, it looks like that is the case. So ratchet down here, and this is a ball joint, but yeah, probably could try to pick his head up a little more. Yeah, it's interesting. The picture actually has it more up like this. But this is a little more accurate anyway, I do believe. Yeah. Aside from his neck drooping like that. I could always apply some polish to that joint there if I wanted to. So that's the T-Rex. And there's the pile of bits for the Triceratops and the Pteranodon. And I think put a stud under there. Actually, a place for one. Yeah. It almost makes me wonder if I missed a step to do that. Nope, I didn't. Interesting. But yeah, I could just put a spare stud under there. Yeah. Just the tail and the head for the T-Rex took me another hour. I think I'm gonna call it here tonight. This is gonna be a lot more work to continue. So I guess tune in next time when I do either the Triceratops or the Pteranodon. Or both. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you guys next time.